Today's video is with Vincent Lafleur at a farm just outside of Sherbrooke, Quebec called Le Jardin des Funables. And I did two featured videos with these guys. In this one you're going to meet Vincent Lafleur. There's another Vincent named Vincent Marco. And these guys are just a wealth of information. Their videos were so chock full of highly detailed stuff. You're not going to hesitate about the value of this website, fromthefield.farm, once you see their videos. But anyways, today's video is on ginger. I did a video here on YouTube not too long ago about ginger, and at that time I promised that I'd have two more about ginger. This one is with Vincent. I got another one coming eventually with Jean-Martin Fortier. But it's an amazingly profitable crop, and I'd love to see more market gardeners do it. It's still an early one where there's not a lot of people doing it, so I think there's a lot of room in the marketplace. And yeah, it's an amazing crop to grow and very easy. So Vincent will kind of get into it here. But if you're seeing this video now, you're seeing a string of videos that I'm debuting over the next 15 days up until October 18th that are segments of featured videos from my site, fromthefield.farm. And so if you're interested in this kind of stuff, you like this kind of content, head over to fromthefield.farm and check it out. The registration is open now until October 18th, and then it will be closed after that, and it will reopen again in the new year, but the price will be higher at that point. And the price essentially reflects the value that goes into this site. When I first started it, I offered a founding members price, which was the cheapest price that it's ever been, and it'll never be that price again. But I didn't have any content in the site, so people were investing in me in faith that I would be making good content, and I have done exactly that, and I will continue to do so. I spend a lot of time traveling around North America to visit experts, and many of them are people that my members recommend. I just got back from Carl Hammer's compost operation, Vermont Compost. That was entirely from a recommendation from somebody in the site. So I'm constantly looking to provide value and interview people that can offer insight on a particular business model within the kind of umbrella of sustainable agriculture. And I'm doing other things too, not just visiting farms, like compost operations and such. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you want to sign up to fromthefield.farm, you can do so up until October 18th, and the link is in the show notes. Enjoy this one. We'll see you in the next one.
You can smell it. You need Autorama on those cameras because this year is our second year of growing ginger. So the first year I think we did it the perfect way, but we didn't know it because it was the first year. So the second year we did a bit more mistakes, and so now we learned a lot this year. We realized the more heat you can give it, the bigger it's gonna be. So we had it in the tomato house the first year, and we heat the tomato house the most. It's always around 20, and usually in the summer it's like 28. And we had another plastic that we put just on the bed of ginger for the season. So under that plastic, it was like horrible. We didn't want to go in there, but the ginger was feeling fine. And at the same time of the year, it was like 6 feet high. This year, because we didn't have the space, we had much more tomatoes in there. We brought it here, which was a greenhouse that was less heated. And we didn't put the plastic because it was like, oh, maybe it doesn't make a difference. It's maybe a big fuss, to install it. So this is the result. And now we clearly see we need to put a plastic and really heat more, because last year we had
I can smell
a yield. Yeah, it's crazy. There's so much aroma in the foliage. But like it was the best margin we had on all our crops.
Really?
The best revenues. We started selling it for $40 a kilo, which is a lot. Yeah. But if you bring it out, I think you saw some. I know some other farmers do it, and like, but yeah. So this is nice because it's fresh and it's like pinkish, and this is the seeds. You can see the seeds still, yeah. which is still fine. It's not mushy. It has a lot of energy, and we could grow it on a cycle of maybe a year or 13 months. But we planted in April, and we want to harvest it in October maximum. Last year at this time of year, it was like this big. So we had, I think, 150 kilograms on 60 feet, which was a lot of money for us. And it was...
Wait, 150 kilos off 60 feet?
Yeah. I think that was
So that's almost 200 kilos per 100 foot.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Wow.
I could go see the yields. We have entered all the yields, like the precise number. I could give it to you, but it was like a $8,000 bed.
$8,000 bed.
Without any work. Like the cherry tomatoes, it's like
Constant.
$11,000-$12,000, which is more. It's like the top crop. But then every week we go in there, we harvest. This is like one harvest. We hill. So we want to bring soil from the outside to just make sure like the ginger tuber is developing under the soil. So it's not in contact, because it wouldn't stay white like this if it was in contact with the sun. So we want to make sure it does. And we were putting chicken manure. Like it's a really heavy feeder. The more you put, pretty much, the bigger it's gonna be, and there's no excess. We don't have like aphids problem at the moment, so we can put a lot. And even if the plant is really filled with nitrogen, it's not gonna be a problem. But so yeah, it's a really interesting crop. So not a lot of work, a lot of revenues, because if you sell it directly, you could sell it to $40 a kilo. But then we went and started selling to restaurants, and that was a lot of money for them. So we went down. We also sold it to a grocery store for like $25-$30 a kilo, which was still extremely good for us. And they were able to make their margin and sell it. Like, it's a different produce. People are used to seeing that.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, I'm not gonna pay a lot of money for that. If it's organic, okay, maybe I'll put a bit more. This is something else. You can use it in a different way. It's so much more fragrant. There's more juices in it. People cook differently with it.
Yes.
And they freeze it. So we sell it without the leaves. We try to sell the leaves apart. People, we have a friend here in Sherbrooke who does has a tea shop. So she bought a bunch of leaves to do like teas.
Because it's strong. I've tasted the leaves. It still has a gingery flavor.
Yeah, and it's like just the aroma.
It's almost like using garlic scapes. And
Exactly.
What scapes are to garlic. Yeah.
It's fibrous though, so you can't really just chew it and be happy with that. You have to cook it in some way, but you can do like just in water, just a tea, a simple tea, or just cooking in soups or whatever. It's kind of a lemongrass type of plant you could use. So, but then when they try it, they realize it's worth the price, because it's organic, because it's local, and because there's so many like olfactive qualities and like tasting qualities to it. So we put it in the CSA, and people grab like a few hundred grams, and they put it in the freezer, and they have it for the whole year.
Do they do anything before they freeze it, or just freeze the whole thing?
They just freeze the whole thing like this, and then you get it out, and you just grate whatever you need and put it back in the freezer.
Oh wow!
So then there's no loss.
Nice.
So this is a big help for us to sell it, and yeah, we love that crop. But at the same time, it's a condiment. It's like garlic, but less known.
Yes.
So we couldn't grow like 2 houses full of it. 1 bed is the maximum for us this year. Maybe next year we'll go at 2 beds, but then I don't think we'll go ever over that, because people eat tomatoes, peppers, etc. And this is a bonus. This is something we add. But since it's yielding so much and really giving good revenues, we want to make sure we have it. It's part of our production for sure, without a doubt.
How's the water requirements for it? Does it need a lot of water?
We had the same settings of automatic irrigation as the tomatoes on the first year, which is a lot, which is like 9 times, varying from 4 to 6 minutes every time, every day. If it's cloudy, we put maybe 6 irrigation times, and then if it's really like rainy, super cloudy, it's like 3 times. So it was varying on the tomato basis, but yeah, it needs a lot of water. It needs a humid environment, a lot of humidity in the soil and around the leaves. So the added plastic around was helping us a lot. And this year we realized at some point in a growing period, like, okay, it's too small compared to last year. We need to do something. So we just put a row cover on top of it. And like when it's a nice day like this in the greenhouse, the ambient temperature, you can see the white thermostat there. It's reading like 30, 32, 33 degrees Celsius. And it wasn't enough for the ginger. So that's why
more humidity and more heat.
Yeah.
So just an Agribon
it helped.
cover on there.
It's not enough, but it helped.
Interesting.
The best would really be the plastic, so there's more light and there's really more humidity under it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's a cool crop, man.
But that's a thick crop. Like I've seen it done. Some people I know are interplanting it.
Yeah. I think
John Hofer.
Wise Earth. I watched those videos, man, and they're amazing. The guy is crazy.
He's doing it better now. Like, he's got it more dialed in.
Yeah.
And also, you're on From the Field. Andrew Manns, he was doing it too in the understory of his tomatoes.
Okay. Cool.
So, but I wonder if this is just thick.
But it's like, definitely worth its own bed.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
with
$8,000 is going to be off this 100-foot
This
bed.
year is going to be a bit less, maybe 6.
Okay.
But it could be 10 for sure.
Right.
Because it was our first year. We had some mistakes. Like, it was pretty good, but I know some other producers in Quebec do much better than this. And their technique is this, like two rows, but like super thick rows.
Okay.
So, and we had
Is that because you can hill?
Yeah.
You run the
exactly.
Okay.
You can see the chicken manure left over here, and
Are
then
you fertilizing throughout? Just at the beginning?
Once a year, once a month.
Once a month.
Once a month, we fertilize just with chicken manure. That was enough. In the beginning of the season, we had a mix of compost, chicken manure, potassium, sulfate potassium, boron, and that's pretty much it. It's like as a starter base. But then chicken manure brings a lot of potassium. It needs a lot of potassium, like 400 kilograms per hectare, which is like tremendous amount. Wow. It's like close to the tomatoes.
Right. So it's a similar fertilization demand.
Yeah, but we don't repeat as often. We do once a month. As for the tomatoes, we do once every 2 weeks, pretty much.
Okay.
Same with cucumbers. It's pretty much once every 2 weeks. So we have them all in the same greenhouses, and we thought the ginger could go in another other greenhouse, but it needs like a specific heat system. And we had like 4-inch pots where we put the seed that we bought. So we try to have like pretty much 100-gram size seed, and then it fits directly in a 4-inch pot on top of like terreau, like in the pot there's the how do you call that?
Worm castings or just the potting soil?
Potting soil.
You just bury it down there.
We just put it a bit on top of the potting soil, so we have control over the irrigation in the beginning, because if it's too wet, it's gonna mold, and we have to let it dry after every irrigation to make sure it can really be sane, be really healthy.
Why in a 4-inch pot and why not just an open 10-20 flats?
Because of managing, I guess, like the space of it. So because we wanted to have like a plant with this high leaves before putting it in the ground.
Okay.
So it was really rich potting soil with like 30% compost. And then when it's starting to germinate, and it germinates at 28 degrees Celsius. So it's in a specific space with the right temperature and a lot of light. And when it's starting to germinate, we put a bit more potting soil on top of it, because now managing humidity is easier.
Okay. And
then when the pot is full of roots, we just plant it in the row. It's like we open a trench.
Yep.
And then they're just packed next to each other. Every pot is like boom, 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 boom. So that's why you see like all the leaves. Like that was a hole. We just picked it out, but then it's like this on all the row. It's a forest, and it works really well. If you heal enough and you fertilize enough, it makes a really, really nice crop. So yeah, it's a nice add-on to the production.
I wonder who made that popular. What, like some market gardener made that popular.
In Quebec, I know some.
Yeah.
There's Chapeau Melon.
Oh yeah.
They're doing some pretty cool stuff in Laurentides. And La Ferme aux Petits Oignons, which is a really big farm. Jim could talk about it to you.
Really?
It's like they have tractors. They do like 1.1 million a year with 15 employees, but they're just cranking vegetables.
I'm surprised more market gardeners aren't doing this.
I know, because they don't know. It's just the information isn't out yet. Like this is gonna, like the videos you do, they're gonna make people want to do it more, because it's the seeds was a difficult part for us, getting the right seeds.
Yeah.
We bought like boxes as we were a grocery store. So we bought like from a distributor organic seeds, but they were in seeds. They were supposed to be sold.
Yeah.
And the first batch we bought, which was like $400 or $500 worth, there was mold on it, and we tried to germinate it, but the mold was already there, so we lost all of it. So we had to rebuy all the seeds. And some people have the same problem. Like I heard other growers just lose a batch of the seeds because it's moldy or because it doesn't react well, or it could be irradiated because they don't want it to germinate, but then we want it to germinate really well. So that's why we want to make sure it's organic, and it's a good organic, not like China organic.
Yes,
you know.
Right. So that's really important. I wonder if you find mold on there. I wonder if there's a way to, can you maybe spray it with a bit of hydrogen peroxide water or something like that?
I think it could help if it doesn't like reduce the possibility of germination after. Because the peroxide, I don't know how it would react, but this is probably, if it stays on the surface, I guess it would be good.
Yeah, I wonder if you would just like to spread it out on a table, spray it with some peroxide.
Or just soak them in, maybe.
Or dunk them.
Like seeds.
Exactly.
Yeah, that could be an option. Because it's pretty heavy skin, so I guess it could be protected.
Yeah.